How did world get so ugly? Well, convenience over everything makes everything more simplified. TLDR. I feel like that's a whole 15-minute video. I think it's a money thingy. It's a money thingy. It is a simplifying thingy, as well as
I'm by the River Thames in London. Now, it's a charming place where tourists...
Also, I was about to say, wasn't slavery not illegal before and shit? So you're able to create those like monstrons, like crazy fucking buildings, and you can just like pay them fucking pennies or some bullshit, and they can get by with it still, just like a little bit. And so you see this like crazy fucking buildings, like back in the day.
love to come.
Still happens.
But why do they love coming here? Well, you've got views of iconic buildings like the Houses of Parliament.
You mean overworking? Yes.
St. Paul's Cathedral. But that's not all. Have a look at this. It's a typical modern lamppost. Do you like it?
It's aight.
Well, it does its job.
Yo, this background is crazy. This motherfucking man is absolutely locked in on his phone. This girl is literally like spinning and everything. What is going on?
But not much else. But look over here at another lamppost. It does its job and a little bit more.
Oh my god, is this in London? Oh my god, these are so pretty. This is so like gorgeous actually. I remember when I was like walking in the London like water thingy, and I would just like stare at the lampposts because I think they're absolutely gorgeous.
It's details like these that help make this such a charming place to be. But these two lampposts don't just look different. They represent fundamentally different worldviews. If you want to understand any society, don't listen to what it says about itself. Look at what it creates.
I genuinely think it's because of fucking how everything is just so expensive now. Like, you cannot build a fucking mansion for whatever how much it was before. Like, things are just like insanely, absolutely ridiculous fucking prices. People care about more about money. Exactly it though. If it was if they saw an income when it comes to making things extremely pretty, then we'd have that. But there is none, unless it's needed.
London's little lanes are charming now.
Hi, Crow.
But 150 years ago, in places like this, you'd have had whole families crammed into these tiny rooms without running water. There would have been open cesspits spilling down the streets, and the stench of sewage boiling in the midday sun would have been unbearable. The whole city stank.
What?
It wasn't only horrible to live in, but genuinely dangerous.
Holy shit, is that true?
See,
oh, that's how medieval cities? Oh,
London
medieval.
had a problem.
Okay.
It was the world's biggest city. Its population was growing every year, along with the construction of new factories and mills and dockyards.
My god, dude. Why does it look so disgusting?
All those people and all that industry produced a lot of waste. It had to go somewhere. Where did it go? Into the Thames.
Is that the reason why it's so disgusting? I thought it was just mud or something.
Something had to be done. And it was an engineer called Joseph Bazalgette who stepped in to construct London's new sewer network in the 19th century. Sewers which still carry London's waste today, rushing beneath me at this very moment. And he also constructed this embankment that I'm standing on. to replace what was essentially a stinking swamp filled with rubbish and human waste and eels. It's impossible to calculate how many lives he saved, how many millions of lives he improved.
I thought the reason why the London water is that color was because of clay or something. I don't know. I thought it was just like, I didn't know it was like pure pollution. I thought it was like clay and like...
commemorated here at a memorial that no one ever stops to look at.
That's what they tell tourists.
For most of human history, the solution to getting rid of waste was to throw it in the street or in the river.
So dragging
this was how most cities were in the medieval era.
Embankment was completed in 1870. It needed lighting, of course. And so a public competition was held.
Hi, chat.
Thank you so much,
much love from Brassel.
To design the lamps that would line this new promenade. This was the winning design, featuring these peculiar creatures.
Oh, it's so
It's a little much,
dirty.
perhaps. But what's clear is that the Victorians took great pride in their embankment and thought it needed appropriately grand and dramatic decoration. See, these lamps were among the first public electric lighting in the world. This was a
Nah, they made athletes swim in it during the France Olympics, and they had Ecolite. What?
radical, revolutionary new technology. Crowds literally gathered to watch them be lit up for the first time. What the iPhone was in 2007, these lamps were in 1870. But looking at it now, you wouldn't know that.
London is such a hole, but like some architecture stuff in London is so beautiful.
Those lampposts don't look modern to us now. They look quaint and old-fashioned. Why? Because they are decorated. And we don't associate decoration with cutting-edge technology. And that's a major difference between us and the Victorians in the 19th century. They saw no contradiction between startling modernity and time-honored tradition. Just like this building, the legendary Houses of Parliament.
It's funny because we could just literally build also new things that are gonna be like landmarks in your country, but we have decided as like, I don't know, as people just to make old buildings to be the only thing to be, I don't know, relics of your things or whatever. I wish that countries would care about making new things to be landmarks and etc., not just malls or whatever, but truly, truly beautiful buildings, architecture that is absolutely gorgeous, stuff like that, or like churches that are actually gorgeous and everything. I really wish that we'd still do that today, but instead we're getting the line, or that's never gonna be finished, or instead we're gonna get a fucking airport that's never gonna be finished, and they instead we're never gonna get a fucking flight bullshit. Oh my god.
It was brand new once, but even then, it had been designed in an old and medieval style of architecture.
Some countries still do this kind of architecture in their country. Ooh, what country?
Every technology becomes obsolete.
What country?
And outdated. But a good aesthetic, even if fashions change,
No, they
can
don't.
never become obsolete. It is definitionally timeless. Those lamps on the embankment did their job. And even though more efficient and better methods of lighting have been invented, they remain 150 years later. That's the power of good design.
True, timeless.
And it applies to lampposts, no less than to national parliaments.
I miss when you go to a bridge and it was like gorgeous, you know what I mean? And not just like, just a bridge. uncle. It's true, though.
And so here, in the Houses of Parliament, everything we've been talking about comes together at last. Except that this is not the Houses of Parliament. It's an old sewage facility, a pumping station built in the 19th century.
Like, it's a pumping station!
As part of Bazalgette's new sewer system. Strange to think that this is infrastructure, a purely functional building with the sole purpose of managing human waste. And yet it has been designed with the same ornamental exuberance as any church or palace. Why? Well, people worked here. And why shouldn't people who work in sewers also have a beautiful place of work? That is how the Victorians thought.
Exactly!
But there's more. There was also a sense of pride. A belief that what they'd done here was worthwhile, that it meant something. And the result, over a century later, is that this place, a sewage facility, is now a museum, a tourist destination. If you want to know what any society really believes in, just look at how they design their sewers.
Yeah, I don't know about now though, dude. London, United Kingdom, when it comes to like, Jesus. Maybe back in the day.
Just a few steps from the old 19th century Victorian pumping station, which has now been decommissioned, is the one built to replace it. It's not bad, I suppose. But it was very clearly not built.
The way he like videos his videos are so, I don't know. What do you guys call it when you frame? The way he frames his shots, there's something so visually nice about it. There's something so aesthetically like pleasing about it. Like every single shot has been like kind of cinema.
The same society.
Wes Anderson
or at least
fan,
not
yeah,
by society,
true.
with the same views,
Composition,
and
yeah.
design. Well, this,
The way that the sign, look at the signs and everything, like oh.
like the original, be turned into a museum, maybe. In any case, I imagine that it is more functional, and that it was more convenient to build and to design. Convenient. Now that's an important word. Look at this air conditioning unit.
I had no idea that UK even had air conditioning units, bro. Everybody keeps on fucking complaining about how it's so hot, it's so hot. And I would always say, like, why don't you just turn on the fucking AC? And then, like, they would always say, like, yeah, but I'm in the UK. We don't have ACs here. And I'm like, why not just get an AC then?
I think it says more about the modern world than anything else. More than phones or social media.
Oh, so American of you to say that? I'm Filipino! Gears in home max, they're 5 gifted!
Technology, one that has changed the world and improved billions of lives. Hence, we stick them literally everywhere. But it's ugly. Ugly because it doesn't seem to express any belief in the idea that ordinary things can also be beautiful. But worse than ugly...
$500 for an AC unit?
I apologize for the interruption. I just need to let this hear. So well. Hello there, D-Man chat. I hope y'all had an amazing Christmas. I brought some
Thank
gifts.
you.
It's a few, but it's honest work.
Oh no, what do you mean
Anyway,
a few?
hope you're
5
doing
gifted,
well and
thank
have a
you.
wonderful new year. Please
Have a
enjoy the
wonderful new
holiday.
year too. Gears and home max. Much love, much love.
It's boring. Now, it would certainly be a bit more
Have you
expensive.
considered that complaining is free, but doing something about it costs money and effort?
I had no idea that ACs is so expensive in your countries. My God, it's not that expensive here. Wow, my bad, dude.
To make it prettier, take a little time and care and
Holy
attention. But these days, it seems that we would rather make more money than make things look pretty. And maybe that's okay. So you can see, I hope, that through something as simple as those lampposts, you can understand the Victorians in their entirety. They didn't have to make it look like that, but they did. Now, you might not think it's beautiful, but I don't think it was supposed to be beautiful. It was just supposed to be pretty, at least interesting, at least not boring. And that...
What do you guys think that made people stop like caring about beauty in architecture and stuff like that? Other than money and convenience. Literally. Like as a society, I guess. Industrialism. And other than money and convenience. There is no reason. Capitalism, brutalism, greed. People don't have faith or belief anymore. Lack of imagination. Planned obsolescence. You say that in graphic design all the time that they go for a minimal design instead. I don't know. I see a lot of graphic design that's not minimal.
in itself says an awful lot.
But I feel like every single country has went through this. Like in the Philippines, where you see the most like Filipino architecture and stuff, and it's like slowly you see it gone or whatever. Or when it comes to Japanese like homes or whatever, I think, or when you see like, I don't know, some old churches and stuff like that, it's everywhere. If you compare a new church to an old church, and you see how they, you know, chose to design it, it's just completely different. Oh my god, old
walking around a city, any city, and looking at its buildings and its infrastructure, you're not just looking at objects. You're looking at religions and principles, beliefs and ideas. These buildings, they don't
After World War II, they built quick and cheap so people have living spaces again.
just look different. They represent fundamentally different worldviews, clashing ideas about how we should all think, live, and behave. And those skyscrapers say the same thing as our air conditioning units and sewage plants, that we have become a society of convenience above all else.
There's a mall here in the Philippines that tried to mimic the look of a sky when you're inside, like a dome kind of thingy, and I love it. Like, it feels like you're in Bioshock when you're inside it. It like in a really like cool way.
But there's something else that we haven't mentioned about these lampposts. It would be easy to believe that they were made by artists and that we somehow wouldn't be able to or couldn't afford to make them anymore. But just like our modern lampposts, our air conditioning units, our everything.
I don't know how the f he got that audio so well done, especially when it looks so far away. But his audio design in this video has been absolutely immaculate.
To
Listen
make them
to
anymore. But just like our modern lampposts, our air conditioning units,
is it edited in?
Everything. These were also mass-produced, made in a factory. We could still mass-produce lamps just like these.
Mari,
We can make our
Taiwan.
offices and our warehouses look like Crossnest pumping station. We could make anything we want. That's the ultimate truth, the hardest one to accept.
No. Look at this part of the video where like he was like stepping around this one. Look at his steps. That is not from his microphone here. I feel like they edited it in.
Houses of Parliament. Everything we've been talking about comes together at last.
No, that was definitely edited in.
Except that this is not the Houses of Parliament.
But the fact that he cared to edit it in shows how much he cares about like beauty in his videos. It was edited. That was like a genuine edit in.
It's an old sewage facility. A pumping station built in the 19th century. But there's something, and that we somehow wouldn't be able to or couldn't afford to make them anymore.
You think you can't like literally edit it in Echo?
Just like our modern lampposts, our air conditioning units, our everything, these were also mass-produced, made in a factory.
At least boosted, mastered to sound better. Yeah, you could tell he
could
edited
still
the fuck out of it.
mass-produce lamps just like these if we wanted to. We can make our offices and our warehouses look like Crossnest pumping station. We could make anything we want.
Yeah, but the price will be like fucking 10 times more. And what company wants to pay 10 times more for a building now?
That's the ultimate truth, the hardest one to accept. But we don't. We have other priorities.
It wouldn't? You think that you can create this kind of building as the same price as like, what do you mean? Of course it's gonna be so much more. Also time. I don't think you understand. You need a lot more time as well. And that's the most expensive part. Time, like, etc., artists, and etc., blah, blah, blah. Dude, companies will not do that shit, dude. I'm sorry, but it's true. They want to be up and running immediately as soon as fucking possible. And it's just, it is what it is. Can they do it? Yes. Will they ever choose to? No, because what company would actually give a shit about making beauty in their building, unfortunately?
If we wanted to, we can make our offices and but we don't. We have other priorities. And that's fine. But it's vital we accept that there is another way. Modern design tells the truth very loudly, that we are technologically superior and very efficient, but also a little bit...
I don't think I was about to say, I don't think you understand. The reason why these buildings were also built was because of the fact that people wanted to showcase their wealth. Whoever has the coolest fucking house, their house is showcasing their wealth. And in that time, during that time, wealth is considered with beauty and like how much like decoration and culture was around it. And dude, at this time, it's not the same.
Boring and unimaginative. And it says that we no longer believe in the idea of ordinary beauty or in the idea of a public that deserves ordinary beauty. Museums and galleries are wonderful places where we can come and look at things that people used to make and admire their handiwork. They're not just dead historical artifacts. These are living echoes of different ideas about what the world is and what the world could be. But in the end, you can't live.
Yeah, but like, I'm sure there was also other shitty fucking buildings from back in the day. You're only seeing the best of the best because only the best of the best would actually still live out to this day and actually be structurally supported to this day. Only the best of the best is what you're seeing right now, because if it was that old, a lot of those older buildings has to be absolutely demolished because they're not structurally sound. You know what I mean? So you're only seeing the true best of the back in the day buildings. You know what I mean? All the old buildings from back in the day that isn't as good as this one are gonna be absolutely torn to shred and just absolutely destroyed.
Museums and galleries.
So I'm sure not every building was this fucking beautiful. I'm not saying like we shouldn't make it. I'm not saying that at all. I think we should care to make beautiful buildings again and et cetera, especially if like a company has the money or the government has the money to make those like buildings to be more pretty or something. But I'm just saying like I don't think every single fucking house had this kind of architectural fucking design work.
Wonderful places where we can come and look at things that
does that make sense?
People used to make and admire their handiwork. They're not just dead historical artifacts. These are living echoes of different ideas about what the world is and what the world could be. But in the end, you can't live in a museum. Now, why things have changed is a significant question, but that's for another time. For now, what's
Thank
important
you.
is to realize that things clearly have changed. And that we've learned this just by looking at all the ordinary objects around us. Now, this isn't about past versus present. It's about learning from the past in order to improve the present.
True.
And what the Victorians can teach us is that even ordinary, useful things can also be beautiful.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so sorry to say this, but like, I hate a cluttered home. Oh my god. And I've lived in a cluttered home all my life, personally. And if I were to choose a house, I'd probably go with a more like a cleaner house look because of cleaning. You know what I mean? I need to be able to clean every aspect of the like house. You know what I mean? I don't want any extra things that I have to like meticulously wipe and whatever and whatever. You want to live in an empty white box? I never said that. I just said like I would rather it gets really dusty in the Philippines really fast. Okay? When I say dusty, I mean dusty. If anybody in the Philippines is here in the chat, I know it's like 3:30 a.m., but if anybody is here in the chat, dude, that are Filipino, I swear to God, every Filipino will understand what I'm trying to say. In the Philippines, it gets so dusty so fast that it accumulates so fucking like it is insane. It is absolutely insane how dusty it gets here. Like I didn't know it was not like this in all of the world. I thought that was like a whole world thingy where everybody just like, you know, deals with dust. But like I cleaned this place like 3 months ago or 4 months ago. I came back and I swear to God, I have no idea where the dust even came from. Like it was so fucking thick and like I had to like vacuum it all out to the point where I had to empty out the vacuum twice while I was like vacuuming because we came back and I needed to clean up. And dude, it just became so like thickly dusty. Like I'm not talking about a light film like of dust. I'm talking about thick ass fucking dust bunny kind of like thingies. And now I finally understand. Months? Well, yeah, I remember I was in the UK for most of those times. That's the reason why I haven't cleaned in a while. I was in the UK. So when I came back, holy shit, it is insanely dusty. And so I can't imagine having to clean that kind of architectural thingies. Oh my God, for my own home. I also think it's because the Philippines, especially when it comes to Manila, is so smog filled. That was a nice video, dude. That was like a really wonderful video. How did the world get so ugly? That was actually such a wonderful video. Asian dust. What is this? Asian dust, also yellow dust, yellow sand, yellow wind, Kosa is a meteorological phenomenon that affects much of East Asia year-round, especially during the spring months. The dust originates from the desert. What? That's a thing? Oh my God, yes! Dude! Ew! Yeah, I've seen this kind of dust. Yes! Bro.